What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I have a little bit of a exciting thing to talk about today, and it's something that I've been wanting for so long. I honestly been talking about this, I think, ad nauseum with Sergio and a couple other old school guys for years now. I think maybe at the minimum, I've been talking about this for at least 10 or 15 years. Ever since I saw this product for other vehicles, I never really understood why we didn't have it for the Sentra. So somebody finally decided to make this thing for the community, and I greatly appreciate it. That somebody is Lance down there in Florida. He definitely has the knowledge for these things. Anything he says, I take as gospel. I trust what he says because the dude's smart. The dude's very, very smart. Way smarter than I am, that's for sure. The guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to engineering and things that are way beyond my comprehension, way above my pay grade and above my level. And so he hit me up not too long ago. I'm thinking maybe about 3-4 weeks ago. So I knew about this product coming out for a little while now, and here it is. So I'm sure to a lot of you that you're like, what is that? Where does that go? Where does that bracket go? This is a master cylinder brace. Lance sent me this to review. I'm not biased to anything that he makes. My opinion is just my honest opinion for you guys on this. I don't make any money off of this or anything that I do with any of the manufacturers that I work with. I'm very honored that Lance chose me to go ahead and receive this and review it. I actually did buy one as well, so I have two of these, one for my red car and one for my black car. But I'm very honored that Lance thought of me to go ahead and be the one to review it, to make a video for you guys and give you my honest thoughts on this and if it's worth it. My understanding is these are limited to 35. And if you want to contact Lance through this video, run over there and purchase one before he runs out. I'll put his information down here at the bottom. But my understanding, there's 35 of these, so it's a limited run, and they're about $260 plus shipping, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty big of him to want to go ahead and send me this and want me to review it, just because, again, I think he understands I will give you my honest review on it. But so far, just on quality alone of this part, I'm very excited about it because it feels very, very well made. This thing is not cheap. I mean, you can feel this as soon as you get it in hands, how strong it does feel and how high quality it does feel. So I just wanted to go ahead and give that quick disclaimer out there and let you guys know you're gonna get my honest, unbiased opinion on this. I love Lance, but I'm gonna give you my honest opinion for sure. Now, I've always felt there was a lot of flex in the B13 chassis, and we always try to get as much bracing into the B13 as possible, from strut bars, rear strut bars, fender braces to brace the chassis, roll bars. The only option that I couldn't find for the B13, and it's something that I saw commonly for a lot of the older JDM cars, was the master cylinder brace. What a lot of people don't understand is when you're pressing down on your brake, you're pushing your foot down through the firewall as hard as you can, and sometimes there may be some firewall deflection in there when you press the brake hard enough, especially on a B13 or an older Japanese vehicle. These things are tin cans and very thin in the sheet metal. And so Lance took the time, with now the development of 3D scanning and 3D printing, all the CAD work knowledge that he has, to make this bracket right here. And as you can see, this is high quality aluminum, and it's all milled off of one piece. So this is very nice CNC'd, well, webbing in there for strength. This thing is solid. He's got this thing triangulated and braced on itself for extra strength in a couple of corners here. From my understanding, he printed out several versions of this to get the correct angle for this to go right onto your master cylinder brace. So these 3 holes right here actually bolt up to your strut tower. Some of the B13s may have the pre-existing holes that are threaded. They go right in there. They have these little black covers, and I'll show you on my black Sentra here. But some don't, and some of those may require for you to go ahead and drill some holes out. So Lance even provides the CAD for this, like his CAD design for this. As you can see in the picture, it shows you where the 3 bolts go. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory, but it also shows you where the stopper goes through it, and it provides instructions in it as well. Some of these instructions are pretty self-explanatory. I don't really have to go through them because I will go through them as I install it in the car. But he even adds in here foot-pounds for how tight to tighten these things. It's very well drawn out by Lance. He thinks of everything. And what's included in the package is another example of how Lance just thinks of everything you're gonna need for installing this. I feel like he goes through it in his head before he even designs these things and what exactly you would need to go ahead and complete the installation for this. So let's talk about what's in the package. So let's talk about everything that's included in the package here. Lance goes ahead and provides you a little anti-seize that you're gonna go ahead and put on the threads of the actual stopper that goes through the brace itself. And that's this guy right here. This guy right here is going to go through the stopper, and this is what's actually going to put the pressure, if that focuses, this is actually what's going to put the pressure onto your master cylinder. You got 2 lock nuts here. You have the 3 bolts that are going to go onto your firewall and washers for those bolts. Not every B13 has the bolts threaded and available for you to install these on your strut tower. But if you do not have them, again, you're going to be able to go ahead and just drill some holes through, pretty simple, and go ahead and install these bolts, and any nuts on the other side will tighten down to this, because the great thing about this is he's beveled it here. He's beveled it here on the corners so that you can go ahead and get the head of a bolt on there without sacrificing any space. It's all recessed in there. So very well thought out piece. And again, when you feel this is very solid. Guys, if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please do hit the notification bell so you get notified when all my new videos come out. I am trying to hit a goal of at least 1 video a month this year. This is the most I've made ever, and I'm trying to take the time to go ahead and bring you guys along for all the projects that I have going on. So I greatly appreciate it. You can just take a moment, quick, like and subscribe. Back to the video. One thing I will tell you guys is I don't know if this fits my B13. I have not look to see if the holes are threaded, so we're going to be going through this together in real time. Another thing I was actually talking to Billy about is the fact that we have stock setups. My black car is pretty much just the stock SR20DE, stock intake pipe, stock airbox. Well, not stock airbox because it has a pop charger on it, but pretty much stock. And I don't know if when Lance designed this was designed specifically for something that may have been low port or SR20 VE or VET. So the thing about that is it changes the position of where the intake pipe is routed. And so I don't know how much space I have in there yet. We'll find out in a second when we get into it. But that is the one thing. So that doesn't deter the fact that this is a great product, because for the most part, I think most B13s now are modified. There's less and less of them that are actually original or have an original SR20 DE. Everybody now runs VEs and VETs or turbo because everybody loves power. For me, already this piece is a win because I love braking and bracing. Suspension is my thing. All right, so as I was mentioning before, guys, this is a high port SR20 DE. So the throttle body is below the injectors and the intake pipe runs upward and over to the master cylinder area. So as you guys can see there, maybe that'll, yep, it's clear enough. So I do apologize that it's a little windy out here, guys. So, but you can see here that I don't have very much space between the master cylinder and the stock MAF for this thing in the location that it is with the stock intake pipe. But I will tell you, this is a non-ABS car. I don't know if ABS or non-ABS matters. It is a non-ABS car, and this has been upgraded. You guys saw me do this before, but this was already upgraded to a U13 master cylinder because I have the big brake upgrade in the rear and the 8022 upgrade in the front. So this is gonna be trial and error. Again, I don't know if Lance had tested out this before, but we're gonna find out here together. But what I can tell you is it's a little sunny in here, but what I can tell you is I do have the holes here. There's little covers on them. You guys can see them. I have one right here, the other one's back there, and there's one here very at the very bottom. I don't know if I can show it. Yeah, here down here at the very bottom. They have little covers on them. I'm gonna take these covers off and we're gonna find out in a second if those holes are threaded. I'm gonna take a quick moment and talk about the tools you're gonna need for this. For my case, because I have to remove the stock intake and there's a couple bolts that hold down the intake, I'm gonna need an extension, but for the most part, it's just gonna be a 10mm to tighten the bolts down. This is just 10mm socket, wrench, ratchet, a 10mm wrench, a 14mm wrench, a pick, because I have to go ahead and get that clip off of the MAF here itself. And I just have my electric ratchet. I went ahead and put the washers already on the 10mm bolts that Lance supplies. I already put anti-seize on the portion that puts the pressure on the master cylinder as well. I got another extra 10mm socket, and I have the 14mm for the nuts that are the lock nuts that hold this pressure bolt into place. Intake pipe is out, so I got a lot more space to work down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if these holes here are threaded or not. And I think, yeah, I think I got lucky, guys. They are definitely threaded. So there it is. That's what it looks like when it's installed. Not bad, right? Again, very well engineered part, very well thought out. I mean, this thing, I could probably hang off of this thing. Whoops, now I got it dirty. See, look, guys, anti-seize, be light with it, because as you know, this stuff gets everywhere. I'll clean that up before I put everything back together. I'll wipe it down. But that is that. So now we're gonna find out if the stock intake pipe will fit right back over it, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But again, great craftsmanship here by Lance. This thing is, the fit is on point, very much on point, and the installation is very straightforward. This thing is going to be, out of all the things on my car, I'm very excited about this just because I've been waiting for this for so long. I know it may sound ridiculous to some of you guys, but again, I have been waiting for this for a very long time. So I'm very excited to have this on. I have pretty much all the other bracing on this car, minus fender braces, which are coming. That's part of my spring upgrades for the car. They are on their way. So let's go ahead and put that intake in, and I'll show you what that looks like, and hopefully it fits around that stock MAF. So we'll find out in a second. So let me show you guys what I did a little bit here. I went ahead and shaved and clearanced my pop charger filter here a little bit, just a tad bit, because it was millimeters from touching the bracket itself. But I know as the motor rocks back and forth, it'll tap on it, and I didn't want that. So I didn't want that to cause any additional vibrations to the mass airflow sensor or anything like that, and ultimately damage it. So I clearanced it a little bit, but it looks like we're going to be set to go in this thing. This is pretty much what the clearance is there. Oh man, I wish I could show you guys. I'm not sure if that's picking it up, but there's a really tight tolerance in there. It's really tight in there, but as you can see, nothing is touching anything. My filter is actually in this area here, and it's touching the bracket a little bit, but it's nothing detrimental to the MAF or the intake pipe itself, and it's all bolted in. All the hoses are back in place. Good job, Lance. I'm sure he didn't intend to do this, but as you can see, it's fitting. All right, so I've been driving around town a little bit, just kind of, you know, stop and go traffic, nothing too crazy. There's a train track here. So I can stop as hard as I can. Does it feel any firmer? No. Does it feel any shorter? No. But would it feel maybe more consistent on a track day? As I mentioned before, would it feel maybe more consistent in high performance driving applications? Probably so. That's probably where you're going to get the most benefit out of something like this. And also you have the added benefit of knowing that in a hard braking application, you have this master cylinder brace right behind your master cylinder, giving you that reverse pressure pretty much, so that you're not trying to flex any portion of the firewall itself. And I think, for me at least, that's something that is a great benefit. Anything that I can do to stiffen up these softer Sentra chassis or these softer older Japanese vehicle chassis, I'm all for it. Is it worth the price? It's all subjective. I say that every time. It really is subjective. What may be worth it to me may not be worth it to you. So for me personally, is it worth it? Yes. Just the time, money, and effort that Lance has put into developing this part in itself is worth it. The fact that it's not mass produced, the fact that there's only about 35 that he's making, that's gonna make it worth it as well. Not because of the rarity of it, but it's because that's really gonna hone in on the people who really care about this like geeky stuff as far as a brake master cylinder brace. So do I feel a difference? Not really. Would I feel a difference in a high performance driving situation? track days, autocross? Probably so, to be honest with you. It's in the same sense of strut bars and bracing. You're not going to instantly feel it because we're kind of numb to the driving experience in most times. But when you start throwing the car around, the strut bars will make a difference. So in the same sense, when you start braking hard in track days and going in and out of corners and going deeper into corners, you want that consistent brake feel. And it's going to all depend on your brake pad, brake lines, brake fluid, your calipers, and now your master cylinder. And now you have this brace here that's completely supporting your foot behind it. And I think that's a win. That's a win in any way you look at it. So is it worth it to you? Maybe. Is it worth it to me? 100% yes. Again, I did buy one additional one, but that is my honest opinion. Fitment's on point. Part is a quality, top-notch part, and you're supporting a community member at the same time, which continues to drive these vehicles forward. So, guys, if you like content like this, one more time, please like and subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell so you can get videos as I continue to produce them. I appreciate you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.
But wait, there's more.
I just had a couple of brake checks in front of me, not too far down this road, where somebody just pulled off into their driveway. And again, maybe it's in my mind, but I do feel a little more brake feedback. Could it be the pads are now warmer, now that I've driven a couple more miles? Could it be a couple other things? I'm sure it could, but could it also be that the brake master cylinder brace just feels a little more direct in the foot pedal and feels a little firmer and that's just me brake checking there. Maybe it's subliminal, but I do feel a more consistent pedal. Yeah. I mean, again, you're gonna notice these things way more on a track day or a high performance driving situation. But it honestly does feel like the pedal's pretty consistent. Maybe a tad bit shorter. Any small flex that the firewall had, any small deflection that it had, pretty confidence inspiring. I like it. It's a limited run. Again, I think Lance is only making 35. So if you want to purchase one, I'm going to put his information below again. Go ahead and contact him, send him a DM before he sells out, and pick one up. If you guys are spending $260 on other parts that really aren't adding to the performance of your vehicle, I think this is something that's going to add to it in the long run, and it's going to add to it immediately, especially for your autocross road race guys, that I think is really going to be worth it to you. So if you can do anything you can to stiffen up your chassis, this is definitely one of those parts that's going to add to it. This might be the final piece that's going to add to it, and I think it's a win. I really do think it's a win. I'm very happy I have it. Again, I don't know if it's a mental thing or I actually really do notice it, but I can tap the brake pedal now and know that I have no more flex in that firewall, and that's awesome. So my final thoughts on this part: great quality. Lance provides everything you need to install it. Probably a 30-minute install at best. What else can I say? I think I've said it all. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Lance, you've made one heck of a part. Thank you for continuing to make quality parts for our community. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace. Thanks, guys. Peace. So, guys, if you like videos like this, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Lance, you've made a great part here, buddy. I appreciate you reaching out to me. Support your community members, support the people that do this. We don't have many vendors that do this, so I can appreciate what Lance has done